Welcome everyone. This is Bōde's Calgary real estate market update for July 2022. This video is going to quickly show you what's happening in Calgary at a macro level, and then I'm going to show you where you can find all of the data for your specific community and property type on Bōde.ca. But first, what is Bōde? For those that don't know, Bōde is a tech company that empowers people to buy and sell their own homes. We make it easier and more convenient than ever before, while also saving you a lot of money. So let's dive right in. What's happening in Calgary? First of all, we're going to take a look at the number of new listings that have come to market each month for the last 4.5 years. And you'll see here it tends to follow the same pattern every year, but for the last year and a half, the number of new listings have looked a little different. So the bright pink line here shows you what's happening in 2022, with the most recent month of June, number of new listings being up 12% versus the average of the last 4 Junes. You can see that's starting to come back down closer to the average, while earlier in the year is much higher. So the number of new listings starting to come down closer to the average. Meanwhile, in terms of home sales, they've been incredibly strong for the last year and a half, but again, in the most recent month, they've started to come back down closer to typical, but while still being up. So up 36% versus the average of the last 4 years. You can see slightly down versus the bright blue line, which is 2021, but still strong compared to a typical year for Calgary. So new listings and sales both looking high versus typical, but starting to come back down towards normal. Then in terms of inventory, or the total number of homes for sale, that continues to stay relatively low. Not quite as low as it was a few months back, but still very low for this time of year. So the total number of homes for sale down 28% for this time of year. So that's great news for sellers, obviously, as there's less competition if you're selling your home, and not as good news for buyers because you have fewer options out there to choose from. So some of the key takeaways: the market's definitely slowing down, but it's still strong relative to a typical year. The higher interest rates that we've seen in the last few months are definitely starting to have an impact on home sales. And as everyone knows, we're expecting further interest rate increases here in the next few months. So some people saying that's going to start to slow down sales even further. However, you've also got strong migration and job growth in Calgary too, so that will slightly offset some of the interest rate increases in terms of keeping demand high. So expecting perhaps a little bit of a slowdown in the next month, but again, not too strong. So what does all that mean for prices? So if we take a look at prices in Calgary over the last 17 years or so, you can see what's happened here in this chart. If we focus just on the very right-hand side of this chart, so just what's happened in the last few years. So since the pandemic began, prices have been going up generally in Calgary. A few blips here and there, but in general they've been going up. And more recently, just this month, compared to last month, prices fell 0.4% month over month, but they're still up 13.3% versus this time last year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few months with the interest rate increases, starting to slow down the number of transactions, but not expecting to slow down prices too much further. So what really matters, though, is being able to look at all of this data for your specific community and property type. And you can find all of that data on our website at Bōde.ca. We have 3 great tools there that you'll find very useful. The first one's called Market Data. And here's where you can see the same supply and demand and pricing trends that we've been looking at, but be able to filter on your local neighborhood. So you can check that out at Market Data. We also have another tool called Sold Data, where you can find out the sold price of every home that's sold in Alberta over the last 11 years. And finally, we have a comparables tool where you can enter 8 features of your home, and you'll be able to see the most similar live listings, as well as the most similar recently sold listings. So you can get a really good feel for what your home might be worth. So check all of that out at bode.ca. And if you'd like to see more of our reports, make sure to subscribe. And any questions, just let us know in the comments below. Thanks very much.